Having a child, having a supplementary exam, getting an F7, don't come back, and then you dust yourself off and you go and study a short diploma. No one should ever write you off. They wrote Nelson off, they wrote Jesus off, and these people are resurrected. And sometimes in life, you have to be the phoenix that inspires yourself to be like, I can rise from the ashes. Very good afternoon and a warm welcome to the virtual Mkhukhu, the VM. As you guys know, please click on the subscription button if you haven't before, and please click on the notification bell so that every time an episode drops, you guys are not left out of the loop. We are officially on our road to 20,000 subscribers, and we'd like to thank our 10,000 plus subscribers that have joined us. As always, angihambing head, angihamba negrotman, uSibusiso Liope, DJ Sbuda. Sbuda, how are you doing?
Sibonga before. How you doing, bro?
No, I'm good, Sbuda. So today to the squatters, we're coming to you guys from a very, very dope business called Vibe Gaming, which is in Newtown Junction. If you know Newtown Junction in Newtown in Johannesburg, I think the shop is close to Capello's, McDonald's, etc. You won't miss it. And we've got a very amazing guest that's going to be joining us to tell us about this amazing business. But last week, I challenged you guys to say, if you have a business, if you have a space that you'd like us to come and film at, to come and highlight and expose, please hit us up. And as the universe always speaks, it's happening this week. But before we introduce our guest, Sbuda, how have you been?
I'm trying to be cool here. The last time I smoked a habli was in Ibiza. And it hit me so bad right in here.
Sure.
That for almost 2 hours I was not in a good state. That was the last time I smoked a habli, and that's a couple of years ago.
Do you think it was the thing inside the habli? Because I'm getting in a tobacco tease efakwayo. Ufaka whatever is chulu la phakathi. Eksenjela amakhehle naye ubheke intuthu. Yabona abantu nje abangayijwayela imboza o PP no.
PP best blend.
Those are the ones.
Oh man, you've just brought me some beautiful memories. Ngibuya kodlala umkhulu wamahleli lapha azibhemela imboza yakhe alalela ukhozi FM.
Sure.
Khalabo. Sokuyihora elisikhombisa. Oh man, such beautiful.
Why ngingwayi?
Oh, you've just made me emotional, man. Oh, I've just remembered Umkhuluwam. I was still a kid.
Yeah.
I was still a kid. I would remember Khosi FM playing in the background. I would remember Umama Lindi Gantuli, man. So recipe sabo. Sikhuleki lekhaya. Wangena kumalindi Gantuli. Ngalobo zeke. Those who've been listening to Ukhozi FM for more than 20 years, you would know the late, great Mama Malindi Gantuli. You would know the late, great Ubabu Kansas Mkhulu, Kansas City, may so rest in peace. Legendary radio voices. Number one. Oh, thank you for Kulmange PP Best Blend. It just ignited some memories of me as a kid.
Yeah.
Growing up, listening to Ukhozi FM, coming back, yeah, thank you for those memories, man. You've just made me emotional. Thank you. How are you doing?
No, I'm good, bro.
I missed you, bro. Good to see you. Yeah,
guys,
man.
please appreciate your elders if you still have them, if you're still blessed to have them. Usibusiso has said before that when he came back from Imeliga Yotumo, that he went to go and visit his mom. If you guys have grandparents, please cherish them while they're still alive. Take time out. Ntanda ma vacation, ama short left. Please don't forget to go home and visit.
I totally agree, my brother. Yeah. Oh man, if you still have both of your parents alive, treasure them. I've lost both of my fathers. I'm still left with more fathers, of course. I've been mentored by a lot of fathers, but my biological father sadly passed on. My father, My second father, who brought me up, passed on in 2017. So I always, whenever I get an opportunity,
Yeah.
I always tell them, guys, treasure your parents. And I also would like to take this opportunity. I can see our platform is growing with international audiences and with some South Africans that are based overseas.
100%.
We see you guys. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for participating on the platform. And I know a lot of you guys also follow Penuel on his platforms because he keeps you guys updated as to what's going on in South Africa. So we are in tune. We know you guys are watching us. And I don't know what they call South Africans who are based overseas. Experts.
We're not sure. You said experts. I said people in diaspora. Yeah. I think both kind of hold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last week we spoke, and exactly as you said, people must invite us into their businesses.
Yeah.
And we're at their first business. We're visiting the Newtown precinct, Newtown Junction, a place called Vibe Gaming, an amazing young entrepreneur who's got some more. He'll explain to us what he has and what he has started, because the gaming space in South Africa has been growing like crazy.
Yeah.
It's very big all over the world. And because of AI, it's getting into a world where you find this fat man just sitting in his house.
Sure.
But in the game, he's some six-pack guy.
Sure.
He's like a winner and a champion. And there's other people who know how to monetize the gaming space, how to make money, how to play tournaments. There's a guy who's going to explain to us how all of that works. Maybe introduce him and let's have a chat and promote his business.
Thank you so much. Hausa, officially welcome.
Thank you, sir.
If you can greet myself, I know people sometimes call us out for not greeting guests properly. But please welcome, if you can please introduce yourself to our squatters, who you are, where you're from, and how this business came about.
All right. Ikamang Hausa. It's Haule Tutube. The business started 10 years ago.
Sure.
Okay. It started off at Dobsonville Extension 3. So what happened was there was an empty trailer there. And I thought, okay, why not just utilize the empty space? By then, we're transitioning from using our payphones, where you'd go in and then just buy some time, you call someone. Cell phones started coming in, and those businesses were dying.
True.
So when the businesses were dying, space was left unutilized. So I said, okay, let me try and put a few screens and see how it works. I tried doing it for a couple of months, and the business failed.
Hey, son. Hey, gaming.
Gaming failed.
Lama container had one, didn't he? Why not push a starter pack? Container.
He was doing starter packs. He was doing public phones. He was doing faxing. It was still back in the day when the internet wasn't as big as it was. They were like sort of internet cafes.
Sure.
But because of the partnership that we had, we also had a partnership with Pioneer Foods. So we're selling bread in there, like the essentials, breads, drinks. That was before MOFAYA.
Yeah.
So we used to sell like a Coca-Cola product and Pioneer Foods products.
Yeah.
And then there was internet cafe type of stuff. And because I was a partner in that project together with Blue Label Telecoms and Vodacom, it was before its era, but people like him have evolved with it up until now. You can only imagine if we didn't stop then how far it would be today.
Obviously, babona ama-container, babona spaza shops. And Hausa was like, no, Baba, I'm going to think bigger.
Yeah.
I want something else. Why gaming?
Why gaming? I'll be honest with you, not being biased or anything.
Sure.
So with gaming or anything that someone gets addicted to, I stand to be corrected. I know there's genius people out there on social media. Your brain creates what's called dopamine, I think. So it's that whole process of being addicted to something.
Yeah.
I'm not selling an addiction. I'm selling a lifestyle. Gaming is a lifestyle. It's not an addiction. It's not something that people do violently or anything. There's countries that are making millions and millions through gaming. Billions.
Yeah, I know places like South Korea, there's billionaires in gaming.
That's correct.
Billionaires, by the way.
Yeah. So I love gaming myself. Not a FIFA gamer though, but other gaming.
Yes, and you're sellouts, most. Everyone
I do play FIFA, but I think if FIFA is just straightforward. You need a bit of...
It's too easy for you.
Too easy for everyone. Jeez. Anyone can play FIFA.
Okay.
But anyways, so e-gaming, it's one business concept that actually works better. People go back. I'm saying I'm not being biased or anything. People always buy something because there's an element of addiction, but obviously it tastes nice.
Sure.
And you go back. Umnandi always attracts you back.
Yes.
And that's what gaming does. People get glued in for hours and hours. And that's why when people sell gaming seats and stuff, they're very expensive, number one, and too comfortable. So they're trying to tell you, you're going to sit here the whole day and focus on us.
Sure.
All right. Anyways, we started, I I opened that space. I didn't work well. And then I sat. I went back and then I rethought. Okay, well, I'm thinking, what should I do? Because sometimes if something fails, doesn't necessarily mean it was never meant to be.
True.
It's just a means of going back to the drawing board, looking where you made your mistakes, and then doing it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Failure is always an opportunity to learn and do things better.
That's correct.
Doesn't mean it's the end.
Yeah. So I went back and then came COVID. All right. So COVID for most of us was more of looking back at ourselves, looking at our success. That's why during COVID, there was a significant number of suicides. I know it's not published, but I know people that committed suicide because of the COVID. I know of people that got into drugs because of the COVID.
Sure.
And I know of people that became millionaires during COVID.
100%.
All right. So it was a chance for you to become something.
By the way, shout out to Likao.
Yeah.
He blew up with Drip during COVID. Shout out to Podcast and Chill. I think their biggest boost happened during COVID as well.
Even a lot of guys, even wanted to say, oh man, I forgot their names, but Major League DJs.
Yeah.
But also, who am I trying to remember? I'm trying to remember Hope Ramafalo,
There's Kevin Lane.
Thogi Mash. Actually, Lekau, the first time I met him, it was during COVID. We had a MOFAYA activation just here outside.
In Newtown?
His first pop-up store was just here next door.
Sure.
His first Drip pop-up store.
Sure.
This is when we first met him. This is when I was still on Twitter. I used to promote #DJ SBU, local businesses.
On Saturdays?
With my Twitter account, yeah. And then that's when I met him for the first time. He told me my brand is Drip. That's when we exchanged numbers. Sure. That's when I was like, we have to bring you onto the show. Since then, we've had him twice. And in the space of 3 years, he's built himself a multi-hundred-million rand business. So big up to what you've started. Mina, my next question would be, as a South African, I just heard Penuel say there's people who are making millions and billions. And how do I, even if it's not billions, how do I make 100 rand gaming in like South Africa by coming into your sport? Is there a way that I can come to your place and learn how to make money playing games or gaming, or are there other platforms that I will have to plug into online overseas? I don't know. Like, can I make money playing here?
Okay, very good question. No, you won't make money playing here.
How?
No. You won't.
Before you answer the question, you mentioned Kirby Lane.
Yeah.
I don't know if you wanted to touch on that in businesses that blew up during COVID.
No, yeah, he blew up during COVID. Cause,
is that a person's name?
Yeah.
Oh, the TikTok star.
Yeah,
TikTok blew up.
Yeah,
TikTok blew up. Zoom blew up, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Please carry on.
Okay. So with me, I'm not a platform for you to make money. I don't want to mislead people. Okay. I'm just trying to make money.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's platforms that you can make money. There's professional e-gamers, people that sit the whole day, people that are sponsored by other brands that I won't mention. They give them a lot of money to do gaming. They participate in different competitions as well. But for Tina Lana, it's you sit in the township and you exist there, you grow there, you know who has something and who doesn't have something.
Sure.
And obviously a social structure is created. There's a guy who has a new shoe. There's someone who only has a new shoe in December, right?
Sure.
Same applies with PlayStation. Not everyone could afford PlayStations. Hence, I went to the townships. All right. So I'll just backtrack and then I'll answer you. So I went back on my failures.
Yeah.
What made me fail was that first few months, people got used to the place. It could get packed and people would come and pay, we make money. And then after a while, people get bored.
Okay.
All right. So when you get bored, you have to pay rent, the sales are not coming in. So I said, what can I create that can fill in that gap?
Sure.
I said, okay, I don't want to pay too much rent. So I said, I'll build a caravan.
Okay.
If people are bored, I can move from one township to another. So that I can accommodate them with gamings. If it's a corner at Dobsonville after a couple of weeks, yes.
Let's go quickly microphone show.
Okay. After a couple of weeks, they're bored, then I move to another township.
By bored, you mean they get tired of the games themselves or the space?
Sometimes they get tired.
Because ngiyakumbula back in the day where the arcades or Street Fighter, no take care.
Yeah.
And sometimes abantu mabese bekhloka ama game.
Yeah.
the guys would have to bring in new
Bang.
games.
New games, that's
Okay.
correct. Yeah.
Who got fire? Round one.
So with me, it's just moving from one township to another. But the main idea.
Sorry,
was,
Hausa.
no, that's fine. Yeah.
The main idea, sorry.
The main idea was to use those gaming facilities as a means of marketing,
Okay.
advertising.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you the images as well. So it's a 3x3 by 2 going up, a trailer, over 10 gaming stations inside.
Yeah.
Well made, looking cool. So you can play inside and outside. You can brand whatever you want to brand. If it's going to be MOFAYA, it becomes a wall MOFAYA trailer. We go to a township corner, and then we activate MOFAYA.
In simple business terms, you created a space where there'd be a lot of foot traffic through the game so that brands can then come and advertise because
That's
there's
correct.
a lot of people there. They're engaging, they're happy, they're excited. and you want your brand there.
100%.
Okay,
So-
that's intelligent.
E-gaming is just a decoy.
Okay,
Yeah. Everyone does gaming, but gaming is just a decoy.
sure.
The main core of the business is marketing and advertising.
Okay.
Our activations. We can take the trailer to a rugby game, fully branded MOFAYA. We chill there. We push Shandis.
Sure. That's pretty smart. Congrats, bro.
Thank you.
Jeez, congrats, bro.
Thank you.
You know the ability to pivot and figure out things because you're realizing as a Hausa, ziningi into aneyigcwalayo la, but I'm struggling to make it new when it's like, how do I monetize? I'm on social media, people are watching my videos, but Facebook is not paying me. People are talking about me, but how do I position myself to become either a walking billboard, like influencers, or a container, or get to a space where I'm like, because I have the attention capital here, now people can come and market.
Yeah.
And in essence, you actually run a marketing business
That's correct.
that looks like a gaming business up front.
That's correct.
That's dope.
That is a smart model. Hey?
Congrats, Hausa.
Yeah, boy.
Cheers, bro.
Yeah.
And maybe before you go as well, I want to know for somebody who's around Newtown, when they walk in here, or I don't want to say the kids, I know that's the language that's used in hip hop, the kids.
Yeah.
Meaning Ikenge like Bramfontein,
Sure.
Ikenge like Josie. What are some of the games that are the most popular here apart from a FIFA?
So the most popular games is FIFA.
Oh, it's FIFA.
You can get to sell out if he's not playing FIFA.
It's FIFA. They do play FIFA. Yeah, so
know
90% of the guys play FIFA. I've even stopped buying other games. I'm a God of War fan. So I haven't brought the new God of War because none of the guys play God of War.
Okay.
So Marco Elenge is just...
There's this kid that won, I think, $3 million in some international competition. I don't remember what game that was. I don't know if you ever saw that story.
No, I didn't.
Actually, I forgot the game, but it speaks to this thing because what we do with the virtual Mkhukhu for the squatters is we like bigging up entrepreneurs.
Yes.
With the Hustlers Corner, our parent channel.
Yeah.
We like bringing young people and letting people know about them, exposing them to different ways of making money, learning and growing. And then more importantly, showing them the opportunities. With guys, you can try this out.
Yeah.
If you have a business, let's say mhlawumbe udayisa amagwinya, but you realize amagwinya only make you 100 rand, 200 rand a day. How do you njengoba kugcwele abantu la monetize?
Yeah.
So we believe very much in education. How can people learn how to make money from playing games? We're not even speaking about creating games as a country. We're not even speaking about njenge FIFA. We've got soccer tournaments in this country. We've got idols. So who is going to build the infrastructure so that we have FIFA champions in this country? Was it Lentwana champion in 2023 and create these spaces so that Vibe Gaming becomes ni champion ya like goal.
Sure.
And now Vibe Gaming with other guys elsewhere, they challenge each other just like normal sports. Because the one thing I think Hausa hasn't touched on with gaming is not only is an escape and entertainment, it also teaches analytical thinking, working under pressure, dealing with anxiety, competition, the same things some of us gain just from playing normal sports. So we're very big to the squatters and everyone else on when we get these platforms, what can I learn? What can I use? How can I benefit? I don't know if you want to add anything more to that.
Just to add on the FIFA tournament that you mentioned. So we also had what is called Ekasi soccer tournament. So other guys that run amateur tournaments only afford you with that particular space. Let's say he's based in Pitoli. The guys can only maybe commute their drive there, and that's it. But with us, we had one tournament where we went to every township.
Yeah.
Today we're here, tomorrow next corner, we create a whole league, a whole World Cup, a whole table, and then finally the winner gets selected there. Obviously,
This is gaming.
This is gaming. We flex it. We can do anything. Imagine any corner. Hey, Alex.
Sure.
That busy corner that the big billboards won't go there.
Sure.
Because they think, actually, most people that buy, it's black people.
Sure.
Most of these other stores that I won't mention.
Yeah.
But the billboards are always put in the so-called high-end Don.
Yeah.
Mara, their shops, they're quiet. So we offering businesses an opportunity to go where the billboard won't go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Brother, thank you so
because
much.
your car moves, ne?
The trailer moves.
then it
We
brings
just leave it there. We just plug it there, and magic happens.
If I'm watching this episode right now and I've got my phone next to me,
Yeah.
what is your social media for me to go in and browse and see your work?
Okay, it's the Vibe Gaming. The Vibe Gaming on Facebook.
Start with there.
Yeah, the THE, the Vibe Gaming on Facebook, the Vibe Gaming on Twitter, the Vibe on Instagram and TikTok.
The Vibe Gaming.
The Vibe Gaming.
Thank you, Hausa Sebo Ngamfethu.
Hausa, we wish you nothing but the best, bro. And I'm hoping that a lot of the squatters are gonna find ways to plug with you. Maybe they have ideas. Maybe they have people overseas. Like we said, we've got a lot of squatters overseas who can plug you guys in and not only have national gaming networks, but go international as well.
Okay,
But then, sorry?
yeah, just to add on, in a couple of months, we'll be doing franchising.
Hectic.
So
That's
it's-
dope. That's true empowerment.
So with us, it's easy. It's self-designed. We did this ourselves. Me and the boys.
Nice.
We didn't source anyone. or
Shout out to
anything.
the team. Shout out to the team.
We went to Chinatown and just, as long as we can draw a straight line, done.
Nice.
Okay, anyways, so we'll be rolling out a franchise.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's say you are in East London.
Sure.
It's just a box. Box. Obviously, there's terms and conditions and how to run the business and so forth.
Yeah.
That will be discussed further. It's just a box, well made, well branded.
Speak to them. Look at the camera there and speak to them.
Are you
What
guys ready to roll out?
We're ready to roll out. This
please chat to them.
was introduced in 2019. It's been how many years now? Almost 3-4 years. It's been tried and tested. It works wonderfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the type of candidates you're looking for? Is it going to start with 4 years experience?
Nah.
Tell them.
I think it's two people that have money and a passion.
Sure.
You can have money. You know, I've had people coming in wanting to invest in the business because they can buy me. But I think there's a saying that says if something is not yours, it's along the way.
Yes.
You know, you start a podcast because he's doing a podcast, but he has the grace for the podcast.
100%.
He might not have the grace for the podcast.
100%.
And after a while, then you die. You don't have the passion.
Sure.
Are you going to come to the studio? The studio is booked, and then try and find another place, or understand? So you have to have the passion as well, and the money. Nothing comes for free.
Hausa, thank you so much.
But
bro.
I'm sure not 1 million because I don't have 1 million.
We're looking at a couple of 100,000s.
Oh, at least.
Just one console.
At least.
PS5, we're looking at around 15, second-hand 9 to 15,000 rand. Just that setup, we're looking at an average 15 to 25,000 rand.
And I think they always say there's never an I in team. And you did mention, and you guys spoke,
Yeah.
and you did say you'll represent the company.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel let's also just bring him in to greet him, your business partner.
Yeah, bro.
Please.
Your Penuel or your DJ Sbu.
That's correct.
Because me and this man were joined by the hip. We're partners. Even when our platform is big one day,
Yeah.
I hope money is not gonna make us fight.
It mustn't.
No, we're gonna fight. I
hope the money won't make you guys fight as well.
No, it won't.
Siyabonga mfethu.
Siyabonga.
uNkulunkulu akubusise.
Thank you.
Hausa, thank you so much, bro. I hope we'll keep in touch. And a challenge to all the squatters, please reach out the Vibe Gaming on all the social media platforms. And for me personally, Isicelo Sami, if you guys can find ways to get involved in this franchise and add kiddies sections where you introduce kiddies games so that children can come in and play games and stimulate their minds, because we need that
dope.
very much
Can I just
in
echo
this
that?
country.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do offer kiddies games.
Sure.
Yeah, there is kiddies games. Obviously, we monitor what type of games they play. Not every game is kiddies friendly.
Yeah, they have age restrictions.
So with this particular concept store, obviously we cater for adults, teenagers, and kids. During the weekend, when parents are doing shopping and stuff, they do leave their kids here for an hour or so.
Beautiful.
And we do look after them.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
How's it? Thanks a lot, bro.
Thank you.
Nice one. Let your partner come through.
I was in Khulumi, all the partners coming. I was in South Korea 2014, 2015. So in South Korea, I think the first dollar billionaire in gaming was born. Since then, there have been a couple more in the world. Secondly, outside of this thing, we've got people that go to stores like Bounce, We Jump, where kids go and bounce on trampolines. Kumnandi uyaqhuma, you exercise, but we don't have enough spaces where parents can drop their kids off and be stimulated. In South Korea, they had stores for Lego, where kids come in and they're given these puzzles of solve this thing and build this thing. And I think as South Africans, we have a challenge of, if you're going to be entertaining, add education. We're here as a podcast, as a vodcast, to entertain, but more importantly, to educate. And you can go and use it to build.
I used to get a lot of parents say that friends like these are
Sure.
And can friends like these can it visit us? Can you guys do things like coming into the mall, stimulating our kids with games that are intelligent to make our kids, get our kids stimulated?
Yeah.
So that would be really, really dope.
It's a challenge to all the squatters.
Yeah.
I'm good, thanks. If you can please introduce yourself to the squatters, say what's up.
What's up, squatters? My name is Nando Fernando. I'm the founder and
of Nando's Chicken. We found him.
not the chicken, but the tattoo parlor. Yeah.
Solid.
So Nando is short for Fernando.
That is true. That's actually why the Nando's is named after Fernando Duarte.
Oh, I
He's
didn't
one
know.
of the co-founders with Robert Brosen.
I didn't know.
So I thought we'd found Nando's.
No,
but we
unfortunately.
found Nando's that does tattoos here in Newtown.
Yeah, so we do tattoos and piercings. We at the moment we have a concept store which we're running with the Vibes Gaming, and it's something that we're planning to grow and franchise it. It's just like Hauser said.
In terms of what Hauser told us about franchising, are you also willing to, when franchisees come through, partner with them? Or do you just happen to be in the store now, but you're actually a separate entity that can operate on its own?
I can also operate on my own, but with this, we're trying it out with Hauser to see how it goes, if we can take it to different places. But we are a separate entity as well.
So I can come and get my tats if it's using a shorter.
Yeah, for sure, man. Let's fill up the
Too
sleeve.
dope. Squatters, Newtown Junction, Vibe Gaming. Unando is here. He won't give you chicken,
But I'll
but he
give you
might
a tat.
get you some tats and a piercing.
What is it that a lot of people don't know about tattoos? Because how do you convince? Okay, let me not get into that one first. Let's start with what is it that people out there, like majority of people, don't know about tattoos, or is some sort of a taboo? Who's at gaming about tattoos?
About tattoos.
And a misconception that is out there about tattoos that people need to know.
Okay, till today, there's a couple of people that still think Uguti tattoos are evil, or tattoos are associated with drugs and, gangsterism and stuff like that.
Pegicele says he gave.
Yeah. So, but when you actually...
Did he say that?
Yeah,
He said
yeah.
that.
Sorry to disturb you.
Sorry for
How did he put it? I want to know.
He said people that have tattoos have a high propensity to commit crime.
Ukhuluma ngesiLungu.
Ish, I don't
Ufuna
remember.
ukwazi ngesiZulu uthini?
Ufuna ukubuza ngesiTumbi?
Ubustuka.
No, guys, it's not a stuka. A stuka is what you
But
get
then Tim, you can't blame him sometimes. Ngoba umuntu omdala, he's probably used to vele gebenza kudala ukustuka.
This is why you, Fernando, needs to break the
Exactly.
misconceptions. Sorry.
Yeah, so tattoos are actually, they can be therapeutic. We've dealt with a lot of people that are suffering from, what do you call this? Bipolar.
Yeah.
Like they want to commit suicide.
Anxiety,
and then depression.
Yeah.
So I've dealt with a lot of people, especially with depression, that came back to us and said, Ash, it's cheaper to buy a razor to cut myself, but sometimes I think I should rather sit through a pain tattoo, and
Sure.
When I go home, things are a bit better. So we saw it as a huge responsibility, and it's been difficult for us to deal with because accidents that we are trained in doing, to help people have depression.
Sure.
So we've had a lot of clients that do suffer from depression, and when they do get their tattoo and they feel much better. So
That's interesting. Tattoos are painful.
They are painful. So in that time when they're getting their tattoo, then they are away from whatever that brings them pain at that time,
Sure.
So it kind of like numbs the whole thing.
I'm trying to think. Maqubli insimbi ziyasinda. When you're lifting weights and gymming is very good way of relieving stress and pain. And maybe for some people, it's almost the pain of lifting weights, because the mama said the day after. So I guess this is their way of escaping of, look, rather you do this painful thing so that I don't hurt myself, and hopefully maybe even leave a motivational piece that I can always look at, and it keeps me going as a form of therapy. I'd never thought of that.
And then there's people that don't really like tattoos, so they opt for piercings, because piercing, okay, they'll get that pain, and then after a few maybe weeks or months, then they can take it off, it closes, and then they'll still come back again for the same thing. And you can see it's okay, this one is probably going through some things, but who am I to help them? I can't really do much because I'm not so, at the end of the day, sometimes they leave feeling much better. For me, sometimes that's like one of the greatest achievements I can do in a day, if I can make somebody feel better and not think of committing suicide, because that's what's happening a lot. People are committing suicide.
And what's the relationship between tattoos and gaming here? Your guys' concept.
Okay, with our concept is that sometimes I get a cue, and then some people don't have time to wait, so games, they come in handy because now they can play a game, and then when I'm ready, then I can call them for their next session. I
get a cue, son. The way you're doing so well, you get a cue. No, we're
not there yet, but we try. We try to send some specials every now and then.
Nice.
Just to accommodate, because tattoos are expensive, guys. But we try to accommodate everyone. Because there's so many people that want them. But when it comes to pricing, then they'd rather go for somebody who doesn't know much, who doesn't have much knowledge, and would so just to accommodate everyone, we try and give back by sending them sales.
How much is the cheapest tattoo?
So our minimum tattoos is $250.
Nice. And then what is the most expensive tattoo that you've done? How much was it? And what was it?
Well, I wouldn't say expensive. It just depends on the sizing and all that.
Okay.
Tattoos can go up to like 15,000, 20,000. But the most expensive I've done was 16, and that was done in sessions. So sometimes people do want to get a tattoo, but the budget doesn't allow. So we do break it down like in 2 sessions where they can maybe come and sit in for 6 times. And then we just divide whatever the whole amount is into those sessions.
2 quick questions before I hand it back to Penuel before we wrap it up. Somebody like me who's never had a tattoo in their lives and who's not interested in putting on a tattoo on their skin, how do you convince somebody to have a tattoo, or do you just let them be?
I just let them be, because I feel like it's a personal decision. I can't impose it to you to say, come and get a tattoo because I want to make money at that time.
Okay.
It has to be something that you've thought about. And in most cases, you get people that have screenshots of phone in to say, oh, one day I want to get this, but I'm scared, or they're just looking for a reason to actually eventually get the tattoo.
And maybe another question that I want to ask, are you able to get rid of some of a tattoo? Say someone was in love with someone and Penuel manje or something.
Yes, that's called a cover up. We do that.
And then am I able to remove a tattoo completely?
You can completely remove it, but at the moment we don't offer that service because the equipment is too expensive for us to maintain. So we decided not to do it anymore. We used to have the equipment, but we decided not to do it anymore.
Okay.
So we just outsource it. Like if anyone wants to get a tattoo removal, we just refer you to somebody that we can trust.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Fernando. I'm so happy. Look, I'm a tattoo, not fanatic, but I have tats. I know a lot of kids when they start, because they know their parents are going to shout at them, they start with maybe their mom's name.
Yeah, that's true.
The old lady was not going to be angry.
And then okay, at least
At least. Another thing is gateway drugs. If you're scared of tats, maybe I know there's henna.
Yes.
Tattoo things. Some people put stickers just to uyibona nje ukuthi injani ujwayele. So some people do those things, but they definitely are personal. I know for me as well. And a lot of people don't understand why tattoos are expensive. And it's because beautiful art is costly. And this is art that is on your body. It's not art that you leave at home. You become an artwork. Essentially. Besides
all that, I feel like it's because for us, we spend, we make sure we invest in our equipment. You can get cheaper equipment like your inks, which will look nice in the first 5 days or 10 days or whatever. But in the long run, let's look at it in 6 months' time. It doesn't look the same, you know. So we've invested like most of our money in making sure that we buy like quality ink and making sure that we buy quality machines. And I mean, most of my machines, I've been using them for years and I haven't had to change them. But you go to buy the cheapest grade of machines, you use it for like a month, 2 months, and that's it.
Too dope. Fernando, thank you so much, bro. I'm definitely gonna come through for a chat.
Anytime.
I'll chat. And if people wanna contact you, is it still the Vibe Gaming, or do you have your own social media?
Okay, we have our own Instagram. It's called Nando Tattoo. So it's NANDO TATU. So our tattoo is spelled as TATU.
TATU. Tattoo.
Yes. Okay, it's tattoo, but because we from home we speak Portuguese, so.
Fernando.
It sounded.
We found the chicken guy, guys. Nyanchela. He's just denying it. But
it sounded very nice in English and in Portuguese, because also one of the things is we wanna go into different countries. Like I was telling Hauser the other day that, dude, we mustn't just focus in SA, because we also have to make people travel. I think if people can travel, they will change their mindset on a lot of things, you know. So if we could have a tattoo parlor like in Mozambique and in like every developing country in Africa, like in all the capital cities in Africa, if we can have shops there, then we would have artists staying, let's say for a month, they're in a certain country and then they move from one country to another, you know, just to introduce them to the thing of traveling, and also like learning different things in different countries that we can bring back to SA and say, okay, I saw this, it's happening that side, we can try it in our country.
That's beautiful.
And so
it's a form of exchange program.
Yes.
If you're a South African tattoo artist, if you guys have Mozambique, Angola, Zambia, it's like, guys, don't just work here, go and exchange and come through and learn something and come back with those experiences. Yeah,
so you'll be traveling for free and also coming back with the money. Like, I mean, most people work in a different country to bring back money home.
Yeah.
So it's going to be that type of experience that we want to create.
Fernando, Nando's tattoo.
Nando tattoo.
Nando tattoo.
Yes, I was explaining the tattoo. So the tattoo in Portuguese, it means you pronounce it as tatuagem.
Okay.
So in short, in slang, they call it tattoo. So it sounded tatuagem.
Okay.
So it sounded good in English, it sounded good in Portuguese. So I was like, okay, cool. Nando tattoo.
Where are your parents from? Are you from Moz?
Yes, I'm from Moz.
Oh, lovely. You've been enjoying Joburg?
Yeah, I've been here since I was like 2 years old.
Oh, so you grew up here?
Yeah, I grew up here.
Ah, dope, man. No, great to meet you.
Portuguese?
Yeah, I can still speak Portuguese.
Hey, dope. Obrigado.
Muito obrigado.
That's all you know.
Stop hating on me. Bamba Nando. Nando, thank you so much, bro.
Yeah,
wishing you the best of luck, and we'll chat soon about my next tat.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Thanks, brother.
When did you at what age did you get your first tat?
My first tat was actually when I got to Joburg in 2008, and Nami, I wasn't too sure, so I tattooed my name. Penuel, a lot of people are always like, why do you have a tattoo of your name? Are you scared you're gonna forget? But I was gambling. I was like, worst case scenario, it's my name. I won't have regrets. So, and I've had tattoos from so many different artists.
You've got a Africa tattoo.
So this right arm is where my legacy lies. This is my children.
Okay.
The squatters won't see it. They'll see it on my social media at some point. I've got Ihau Lagwazulu, representing my son Zulu. I've got Inkunzi Malanga, who's my firstborn. Down here, there's a star, Unkanyezi. My second daughter, under Unkanyezi, is Unyanga, who's my last-born son. I've got Africa here. You guys won't see it, who is my first-born daughter. And then, hidden here, Kona Ushaga, who's my third-born son. But I still need to do a lot of work. My brother's got more tats than me. I need to catch up. At least thanks to Lunando. It's going to help me out.
And it's dope. At least we are taking it a little bit easy this episode, because I think a lot of people are still they're still Slung, Mato.
Slung is running away.
They're still digesting episode last week.
Digesting
last
and
week
savoring.
You went in last week.
Look, before I speak about last week, Manusbu said this earlier, and I just want to give a shout out to guys like Umfana Futi Kumalo Max in Scotland, Umtobi Sinsele in Germany, Umabato in Canada, to all the guys that we know in America, Utuli. Last I checked, you were in Germany with the Lion King. A lot of the teachers in Vietnam, in South Korea, in China, all the guys that support our channels from around the world, all of our SADC brothers and sisters from Bots, from Eswatini, from Namibia, all the guys in Nigeria, all the guys in Egypt that watch our stuff. Thank you so much for the support. We know you guys sometimes criticize us for speaking vernac from South Africa. We're going to work on the subtitles, and we're going to try and be cognizant of you in terms of speaking more English, because we realize that we need to be responsible to you guys. And my appeal just to all of you before I carry on is, as much as we have a responsibility to give you guys news about what's happening in the country, to try and keep the fire blazing, to make sure that we're creating a fertile space for you guys to bring back the currencies. You guys also have a responsibility as virtual squatters, as hustlers, to try and create fertile earth for us elsewhere. As Nando said earlier, the whole world is our oyster, and we need to get as many South Africans to understand that this whole world is ours, and we can enjoy it and appreciate it and connect with the people out there. But thank you so much for the support. We love you guys, man.
Yeah, no, last week was beautiful, and a lot of people appreciated that you've simplified understanding energy versus coal versus we spoke about nuclear.
Sure.
We spoke about energy. We spoke about coal.
Spoke about solar.
And solar.
Yeah.
But how you've also simplified Eskom from back in the day up until now. And ever since that episode, man, every time when, load shedding Shaya troops, somebody was even saying to me, yo, while you guys were actually even talking about it, it hit you right in the middle of the episode.
100%.
It went, Phew. So thank you very much, my brother, for always going in and giving us information for free, because nobody pays you for this. And we appreciate you, because some of the information it's information that a lot of people would be afraid to share with the public, but you're not afraid. You always want to share with us. And I just want you to know that we appreciate you for that.
Sposiso, thank you so much for the platform, man. I think I said this last week as well. Some of us have a responsibility. We may not be politicians. We may not be super rich. We may not be connected to certain families, but in our own way, if we're using our voice to educate and ignite and uplift you, we'll do so. If it's igniting the fire inside yourself to be like, Black Child, it's possible. Whether it's gaming, whether it's drip, to whether it's any other business, the world is yours. So for some of us, it's education, empowerment. It changes the mind. And if our schools are not doing it, if our big politicians are not doing it, if big business is not doing it, and if other people are going to tell you, no, you first have to sign up for a huge qualification to learn these things, some of us are going to try where we can, because the whole point of sending ingane, pesheya, and by pesheya, I don't mean overseas. Pesheya means overseas. The whole point of sending a child somewhere else is so that they can go and bring knowledge and skills and resources home. As I said, the responsibility of some of you guys overseas. So some of us went to tertiary, some of us have worked in certain companies, and we have a responsibility to go back home to teach. I may know something about Eskom that you don't know. I have a responsibility to teach you, and this is the least that we can do. SBU was in America, and because he shared his experiences, it's like we were in America. Because he went there, he brought back some knowledge. He came back with an FDA approval for MOFAYA, and that means as a country, as a brand, we're now going to go and make money overseas in dollars so that we can plow back into our country. And all of us have a responsibility to do that.
I don't like focusing on failures, but I'd like for us to talk about failures on this episode.
Okay.
I know you failed a lot of times. I've failed a whole lot more times, probably more than you have. Recently, I've been dealing with my SARS matter with the South African Revenue Services, and I would like to encourage young entrepreneurs as well, including Uhausa and Fernando as well, who was here, to also take care of their tax issues. And especially some of us who are not in corporate, maybe from matric, you're already in business or you're already starting your own thing, make sure that you get a tax consultant or an accountant to help you with your tax matters, so you don't end up one day like I have been, or like any of us. I don't want to name names of other people who've been going through their tax issues. It's very important for you to understand all of that stuff. But another thing is, as I've been going through all of that stuff, and I think for some reason behind the scenes there was an impression that says that I'm very wealthy and I'm rich.
Yeah,
I know I'm working hard and I'm building these things that one day will be worth a lot of money, but I think there was my name was attached to a lot of projects that I'd done before in the past, of my hustling. Some of us, Pella, we are not employed. We are unemployed.
Sure.
I've never known what it is to be employed.
Sure.
You know, unless the radio stations that have employed me. Thank you guys. But I was never really employed in a corporate environment to be properly trained.
Sure.
But over the years, I've always been someone or hustler. I'm an opportunity. You meet this person, there's that opportunity. You register this company. This thing does not work out. There's a tender opportunity there. You register this thing. It does not work out. Before you know it, you've got all these little opportunities that you try to get into.
Yeah.
Years later, you've even forgotten to deregister
Sure.
some companies.
At the CIPC.
When people look at your name at the back, your name is attached to a long list of companies. Where people feel good,
Sure.
and none of them are functioning.
Yeah.
And I've had to be reminded to go clean up my closet. It's like now shy spring cleaning. Uthatha ezinye izinto uphisana ngazo, ezinye uyazishisa, ezinye uyazilahla, you know.
Yeah.
So I've had to go do all of that stuff. But it reminded me also ukuthi umuntu didn't just get to where he is easily.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of failures that I've had to go through.
Yeah.
And I'm one who's not afraid to speak about his mishaps, his mistakes, his failures. And I want you guys to know that it's okay to fail. I want you guys to know that it's okay to fail. Even if you've failed more than 10 times, you're failing for the 13th time. Don't think you're either an idiot or you're not meant to make it or you're not going to make it. Or maybe now you're older, you feel good. I'm now in my 50s. I'm probably not meant to make it in this life. That is not true at all. As long as you're still breathing. I always say to people, for me, about nabati Friday or nabati New Year or nabati December, for me, ngizibonela ilanga naliphuma ekuseni, ngizibonela ilanga nalishona ntambama. Ngizibonela ilanga naliphuma ekuseni, ngizibonela ilanga nalishona ntambama. So as long as I'm alive, I still have got a chance to go out there and do something with my life. So guys, I have failed more than you can ever imagine. As I was going through some of the companies that my name was attached to.
The stories.
I remember a bread project that we wanted to start. I remember some agriculture project that we wanted to. I remember
Toilet paper
in Tofo project that we wanted to start. I remember some of them we started and they failed. I remember Vandal t-shirts.
Sure.
It was successful for a couple of months or so, just a little less than a year. And then at some point, there was no longevity in there. We were very successful in a project that we did with ETS Records, with Mzegezega Starter Packs.
Sure.
That was a great project with Vodacom and TS Records. There was no sustainability in there. We did not, it was successful for only like 3 years. We were talking about it, the containers. So I want to come onto the camera and say, a lot of you guys who are failing right now, whatever you might be going through, whoever you think is successful that you look up to, trust me, they've got scars on their back. They've got stories and stories and stories for days that they can tell you of multiple projects that they failed on. So this episode is just to make you guys feel good and say, the sooner you start, the better. But as you fail, we call it fail forward. Don't be afraid to start something else again. Don't be afraid to start another thing again. And probably you're going to fail 20 times. And I'm where I am today with this is succeeding, but very, very slow. It's taking a long time for one to make money. And I've even made peace with the fact that this is not mine anymore. This is going to be okay for future generation, for my children's children. But I've come to peace with the fact that I want slow, gradual growth. Because everything else that I've done in the past, a lot of it might have been inspired by Asenzi Nyugula. It wasn't the passion that one has now in building what we're building. Even though the success doesn't come, but one does see what there is. It doesn't come now, but one does see what there is, a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that to say it's okay to fail, but just fail forward. Don't give up.
Siyabonga Sbusiso. Fail forward and fail fast. You also need to, there's a term called resilience. In English, your ability to bounce back. Try and bounce back quickly and don't sit and be miserable there in your failure. I've got a million thoughts as you're speaking. One of them speaking about SARS and tax. I know Zwaibala at some point had tax issues and he went out and he spoke to the public about how important it is to worry about your tax. Shout out to Nicolette Mashile. She's a person that's been on the Hustlers Corner a few times. She tries to break down personal finance in the most simplest way. I appreciate the work she does. She's written books. She's released a kiddies book. She's done a game as well, like Robert Kiyosaki, who's got the cash flow game. Shout out to a gentleman by the name of Andre Potma. If you can get his name and go on places like Twitter, I think he's busy with the book as well. Andre teaches tax. And to what I was saying before Sbusiso spoke, we have a responsibility. If you had the privilege of going to study tax, if you work at a SARS, if you understand these things, why are you not teaching us? You know, a couple of years ago, I had a money school on WhatsApp where people were paying me 100 Rand a month to teach them about money. There's nothing stopping you from starting a WhatsApp group, a Telegram group, a YouTube channel, and just saying, guys, let me teach you guys about tax basics. Other things I don't know, I won't tell you. Other things I'll refer you, go read this, because the Tax Act, I did a tax at honors level. There's a thick book like this, the Tax Act. That's one, the Income Tax Act. And then there's a VAT Act book as well. Tax is very complicated. It's done on purpose so that these guys can make a lot of money, and it's complicated and whatever. But the bottom line is there are many children out there who understand tax. And not only must they be available for us to consult, they must also teach us so that we can all win together. There are so many tax breaks that you guys still need to learn, certain zones, and. But shout out to Andre Portma, shout out to Nicolette Mashile, shout out to Samge.
Yeah,
I know she got married. Shout out to Samge, shout out to Gerald Mwandiambira. These are the people that are teaching about money, and we need more and more of you to do it. You don't have to be famous and big. Nicolette with her phone. Now, she was also trying to understand, but asking the right questions. She's a big brand now, so you can also start. That was the first thing. Fail forward, fail fast. I'm not going to speak about mine, but I'm going to challenge people that work at the CIPC or anyone who has access to those people. Please make these platforms easier. May he rest in peace. The late Dr. Richard Maponya raised this. Christo Visa, who owns ShopRite, Pepco, and other businesses, a billionaire, has raised this. Aliko Dangote, all the way in Nigeria, has raised this. We need to make registering companies much easier. And we need to make deregistering companies much easier. A lot of people end up with false signatures and fake affidavits because the process is so tedious and so difficult. And that hinders our ability to formalize, to be able to draft business plans, to be able to get a business bank account, to be able to raise funding. So at the CIPC, the Minister of Small Business Development, I know, was Ulindiwe Zulu. I think she's now at Social Development, SASA, I think. I don't know. There's a lady now, brilliant lady, who's the Minister, I think, of Small Business. I'm not sure who it is, but we urge you guys as entrepreneurs to please help us out. Two more points. The one is MOFAYA Ad saying it's taking long and you guys don't understand. I'll explain it on another day, why a big business may not have cash, why Elon Musk doesn't earn a salary and he lives on a credit card, even though he's again the wealthiest man in the world, and why he doesn't have cash and he had to go and loan money to buy Twitter. Speaking about Fernando, when I met Fernando Duarte and Robbie Brosen of Nando's, one of the things they told me is after 20 years of building Nando's in over 100 countries with over 1,000 stores, it was the first time they were beginning to make money. They had not made any money at that point. They had not drawn a salary at any point. And that's some of the education we need to teach you guys. That you may see someone with a big business, but he may not have cash, and you may not understand. The last point I'm going to make, Usbuda spoke about this off camera before we started. Shout out to Dr. Life's Good, Siliboho Mulife, Dr. Life's Good.
That's my boy.
Why push him up in bag, I think in Poseidon Valley, Bez Valley, before they built the hookup dinner with some of the partners there, and they moved to Brown Sense now, Nabo Zuzugile Sony, Nabo Luyanda Chafta. Why push ama bean bags? He was hiring out bean bags. I had a small trucking business at the time, so why music say pens bean bags, and anyone that was hosting an event would hire the bean bags, and then he moved from there to the hookup dinner, which was in Maboneng at the time, and they've built on from strength to strength, and these become part of the stories that we get to tell of failure, of success, of making friends, of making some enemies. Some of the enemies years later, they realize once they see what's in life is real. They're like, hey, Ntwana, I think I was 20 years old and I invested Istina, 1,000 Rand to you. For 5 years, now that I've invested more, now that I've started my own business, I actually now understand what Ntwana, you were trying your best. And sometimes businesses fail. So I actually have more money now. So if you have any projects, I'll give you 100,000, even though you lost my money back then. Because I've seen your integrity, I've seen how you've been able to bounce back. I've seen how you've gone on to keep telling your story and keep trying. You've now earned a fan again in me, and I'll invest in you. Life is long. The Jewish business people understand this. If you read business books, if you study business stories, like SBU and I do, you will know how many failures there are. Gary Vaynerchuk, a great business mind in America, speaks about how he missed out on Twitter. He speaks about his failures. He speaks about failure at school and finding yourself in those spaces. And life is long. Life is a journey. We all don't have the answers. We're all trying. Some of us, we fail. When we get embarrassed and scared and shameful, and we hide. Instead of being honest and telling you, look, I lost your money and I tried. Yes, I was popping bottles. I thought I was marketing. I thought I was being cool. My mistake. And we need to tell you guys, it's fine to tell you a story of failure. So that we can speak on your behalf and be like, look, what he's trying to say is he made a mistake, he flopped. If you reinvest in him, if you give him a chance, he will bounce back and do it again. My last challenge to government is America and the American dream. I wanted to say Paul Kagame, shout out to him and Rwanda. I know they've made registering companies. I think in one day you get a company very quick. And I know the CIPC has improved, but they can do better. I've lost it. America, bankruptcy. America understands that people fail. If you listen to Bill Gates, if you study Henry Ford, if you study an Elon Musk, if you study a Steve Jobs, SBU and I will speak about Steve Jobs the other day, and I was thinking, I was thinking of black entrepreneurs. Sorry, small little tangent. I was thinking about black entrepreneurs, and if ever SBU, for example, were to leave MOFAYA, and then people say things like, because this is what we do, because we hate on each other, we have an inferiority complex. And I'm like, we've never done that with Steve Jobs when he was fired from his company. We never did that with Yanni Mouton, a billionaire in South Africa with PSG. They own Pioneer Foods, Curo, they founded Capitec, etc. There's so much we don't understand about how business works. In America, they understand that. That's why you bounce back quickly when you fail. They have bankruptcy courts. They have these places where you file for liquidity issues. That's how Donald Trump can be $5 billion in debt and then bounce back. 50 Cent filed for bankruptcy. Robert Kiyosaki filed for bankruptcy. They understand that sometimes you fail. Sometimes things don't work. And we're not going to blacklist you for 5 years where you're now stuck and you can't move. We're going to say, look, we'll wipe your debt. Go try again. Because this is what the American dream is. And if we want to have a South African dream as the South African government, you guys need to fund young entrepreneurs. You can see people abapatanisayo. Give them all the money and all the support. You've seen now, Vibe Gaming. There's a young guy who houses, there's Fernando. These guys are pushing. Be like, look, let's reach out to you. The hookup dinner or label was saying, government, open up your doors. We're just trying to work. Open up the SAPC. Open up our ESCOM. Open up these spaces. Let us come and speak. Let us come and do things. I saw one of the soccer teams was wearing, I think it ripped. Some of the kids. Try us out. We're going to be the future Elon Musks, the future Jack Ma's, the future Andrew Carnegie's, the future J.D. Rockefellers, but it requires you to believe in us and to invest in us as we fail over and over again. But we learn, we meet people, we do something spontaneous, and then you guys can be part of our success. And when we're paying tax, when we're funding your political parties, etc., you'll know from back in the day. We've been hustling with him from the get. I think that's the last thing I want to say. Nyabong.
I also just wanted to say, even with our journeys of hustling, the problem with us hustlers, I know a lot of us mean well. And a lot of us are great people. And I also see musicians, because I come from that world as well.
Yeah.
We don't communicate. When it's difficult, you've promised a service, or you've promised something at a certain date, and you know that it's difficult to deliver it anymore. You're booked for a show. You're running late. You know you didn't have a spare tire, or you didn't have a puncture. That's a lie. And you know that's already a lie you've already used last month in some other show. Tell that promoter, I'm running 3 hours behind. I'm running 3 hours late. I will not make it at midnight. I'll only get there at 3 in the morning. Is that still okay? Is it still okay for me to still come? And then I'll keep the show going somehow with other people. I'll let the people know you'll get here at 3 in the morning. This is for musicians. This is for entertainers. Just communicate.
Yeah.
Business people, even people nokuthi baba blame ngokuthi babaleke neimali zabantu abanye uthola ukuthi ababalekanga nazo lezo imali mhlambe lezo imali nabo they meant well. They thought there would be some good returns on and I'm not even encouraging anybody to be running away with people's monies, especially those that are in financial services, etc. I'm not a financial advisor. I know nothing about that, but I do know that even if, let's say, I'm asking somebody to invest in me, I want to go buy at least 10 Hubleys. so that I start my small hobby business, Ekasi. The next thing, things don't go well. The next thing, things don't go according to plan. Nyashonelwe ekhaya or whatever. Mhlamba, I use that money. Abanye beni imali yomkhuliswano. I used to see it with my parents when I was a kid.
Mali stokfela.
Bacabanga ukuthi bazokhona ukuyi-replace by the end of the month.
And that's what poverty does to you. Eh? When you're poor, uthatha imali upeshe, uthi no ngilindele lento, ingaveli.
So that's what I wanted to say. That guys communicate. When you communicate, rather ungitshele, ngukwatele ngaleso sikhathi.
And they're gonna be angry.
Thank you.
They're allowed to be angry, but you must still communicate.
I trust the fact that you were able to be open enough with me and tell me, you know what? I can't be able to give you your money, but here's a date, and I think I'm gonna give you your money at this time. Or I think good things will be better at this time. Or the investment, everything went under. I don't even have my money anymore. I've even lost money from other people who invested in me. Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying, let's communicate. If you are communicating with ethics, principles, your values, and you treat people with that type of a respect, you're going to go very far. And lastly, my last point is, some of my experiences in failure have taught me to not be embarrassed with failure, because failure is a good teacher. Some of you guys fail and you end up being homeless in Johannesburg. Making an example about Johannesburg. Some of you guys are in New York. Some of you guys are in London. Some of you guys are in East London. Some of you guys are in Nelspruit or Bloemfontein. You are now afraid to go back home. But this is bedile. Guys, I'm a hustler. I've been through so much and I've made so many mistakes. And I want to tell you guys, it's okay to fail. It's okay to go back home. It's okay to humble yourself, even if you're but you know what? You're going to bounce back and you're going to go back to Joburg again. I once interviewed an incredible musician and music producer and DJ by the name of DJ Moby Dixon.
Yeah.
He told me his story. Same thing when he was young. Joburg pushed, things didn't go according to plan. Oh, I think he pushed, did well. And then he got into, the life. The life and the girls and the whatever. And and then all the money was gone, messed up. Eventually, he swallowed his pride and he went back home. And as much as Mam Teti Sileka, but they accepted him back. And, he bounced back at home. He worked again and for another year and whatever. And when the time was right and when they kind of felt good mentally, he's now ready again to come back to Joburg. They sort of, at least he still had parents to support him to, come back to Joburg and push his dream again. And he came back and today he's Moby Dixon.
Shout out to his parents.
So I want to say that sometimes you will fail so much that things are so bad that you have to go back home.
Have to.
You can't even afford rent anymore. Go back home.
Khumbule ekhaya.
So khumbule ekhaya, humble uyobuyela ekhaya, go regroup, go back to the drawing board, humble yourself, start again. You will bounce back. One day, all of those failures will be a story for you to teach, encourage, inspire new generations through some of all of your failures. Can be one day, then you're so successful, then you're able to say, these are all the scars that I got from this entire story. So I just wanted to make you guys feel okay about failing, because I do know Instagram and the dopamine effect that we're living in 2023 does not allow a lot of people to humble themselves. Everybody just wants to hide and everybody just wants to bafele ngaphakathi and then just portray a life that they're not living. And you end up just lying to yourself. The worst person you can lie to is yourself. When you're lying to yourself, you're afraid to swallow your pride, you're afraid to go back and humble yourself and start again. That becomes a problem because you'll end up being homeless, you'll end up getting into other things, you'll end up getting into crime, you'll end up getting into that dark world, because there is that dark world also.
Prostitution and drugs.
So failing is okay. Let's fail forward. Humble yourself. Go back to the drawing board and then bounce back. We've bounced back more than once. And here we are. So be strong. Believe in yourself. The future is there. It's okay to humble yourself and fail. Fail forward.
Are we shutting down or?
No, we're not. I'm coming back to you. When
Say
you
this
didn't want to take it further, but I mean, because we've had an episode where we're promoting the guys' businesses, and the topic that we spoke about after is related to all of this. I'm sure now, because they're actually listening as well. Spoke about tax. We also spoke about failing. As much as we are promoting people getting into entrepreneurship, getting into starting their own things, we must also understand there's that other side of the coin.
100%.
I'm glad that we've covered that today.
Now, I'm happy to hear. Look, I was in Guangzhou, which is a city in China. Some people about Sanduk Stalker would know it. With the South African brother, I went to school with Uspa from Simone. Very popular.
Simone, yeah, that's my guy.
You know,
I'm a hustler.
proper hustler.
Yo, I'm a hustler.
And he was a very problematic student, but he found himself in entrepreneurship. We were in Guangzhou at a hotel, and he said something to me that was so profound, and I watched it happen to myself, where he said he would never invest in someone who has never failed before. And I was like, no, what do you mean, Fitz? He's like, I need to know what this person's character is like when they've seen dust. And he explained it further, and I got to realize later, and I've met millionaires and billionaires who only reached out to me after I failed, and after I released, I've got a book called The Rise and Fall of the NSC, How I Made and Lost My Millions. They reached out to me because they were watching how I was moving in my failure. Because it's always nice to be successful. Everyone's watching, oh, you're successful. We want to see what happens when there's adversity. When you're Jacob Zuma and you're being crucified in parliament by the media, by the world, everyone is saying you're polygamous, you've got too many children, you've done this to people, you've stolen money. Now we want to see what man we're dealing with. And some people will invest in you because we know moving forward, the day you fail us, because sometimes it's inevitable. We know the type of character we're dealing with. So don't ever be scared to fail. And please know that even in your failure, you have to maintain your integrity and your dignity and your poise and your character, because there are people watching you. But no, mama, when you go back home, but I promise you they're watching. And when you bounce back, you become Nelson Mandela, you become Jesus Christ. There were people that wrote off Utata Nelson Mandela when he went to Robben Island. They thought he was going to die. And he became president and an icon and one of the greatest human beings to ever exist. And he did it with such class that even the white people that hated him were disarmed. And they ended up seeing him as a hero. Jesus Christ was crucified and put in front of everyone on a cross to be like, this is what happens when you have a too big mouth. And after that, he resurrected. And today there's Christianity, which is arguably the biggest religion on the planet. So there are people watching you in your failure, how you bounce back. And some of them are like, I was waiting for you to fail with this 100,000. And then I'm watching you bounce back. Now you're making 200,000. I've got 5 million rand for you. That's been waiting for you to fail and bounce back so I can see what I'm dealing with. So watch how you move. There's a lot of you guys right now. We're in March now, 2023. A lot of tertiary institutions opened last month in February. A lot of you lied at home. You took Imali's book allowance and registration, but you actually didn't get accepted. And yes, some of you who are hustlers have maybe bought sound. Some of you are trying to trade Forex, crypto, whatever. But some of you are just fucking around and you're sitting. And if you cannot go back home, at least be honest to your parents. There's no shame in going home. Some of you that are at home, especially watching this episode, because you've lied to people. No, I'm going to study in Cape Town. Can't you say you're scared to go out into the streets. I want my big text to say, guys, like UCT, Yashisa. Can't I say UCT, but it's raining today. What do you mean? Guys, don't be scared to be out there. Some of your biggest opportunities are at home. Get out. Go and find out who runs business or the economy in your kasi. Like me, to get close to the mayor. Get close to the people that run businesses. Nyaze port of fish and chips. Nyaze amigo. Go sit with those business people and say, I want to learn. Go find some of your business, some of your mates that are running small businesses there. Go to Ikawash. Go to Ishisa Nyam and be like, look, Angela, just ngibe busy. Nami ngivuki self-esteem and confidence. Maybe raise some money so that you can maybe go to a Joburg, to a Durban, to a whatever. But because that's how you die. Again, bouncing back. There are kids that don't make it in their first year. They finish matric, marks, and then they have to upgrade, but the esteem is down. Some of them buy a misela. If it means going to another town, so be it. But go and improve your marks. Some of them, they say, I'm going to work this year, or I'm going to go bartend in the UK, or I'm going to go and work in Dubai. Go do that, but go and find yourself back. Some of those kids bounce back. Cheryl Nkabinde was my senior in high school. She was an incredible academic. There were 3 of us as girl. It was a white Model C school in Newcastle High. There were 3 of us. It was myself, it was Usimpiwe Dladla, it was Cheryl Nkabinde. We were the only black kids in the top 10 in our grades. Through those, so a lot of black kids would look up to us and be like, oh, no Penuel, no Simpiwe, no Cheryl. Cheryl got to varsity. All the hype, starting to be a CA, and she fell pregnant. A lot of people wrote her off. She went home, she gave birth, she went back to school. She had another child. She's a chartered accountant today and a mom. Will never win. They'll never win. Having a child, having a supplementary exam, getting an F7, don't come back, and then you dust yourself off and you go and study a short diploma. No one should ever write you off. They wrote Nelson off, they wrote Jesus off, and these people are resurrected. And sometimes in life, you have to be the phoenix that inspires yourself to be like, I can rise from the ashes. They wrote me off. It's yes, I say, our friends like this, radio. But like a phoenix, and the crazy thing is you gain this insane confidence. And you also get hungry to constantly reinvent yourself. I was very disappointed when a lot of the Americans, including Trevor Noah, were criticizing Elon Musk for buying Twitter. What does he know about running a social media platform? I'm like, this is Intwana from Pretoria Boys. I think he was at Bryanston High at some point, who left, went to Canada, backdoor, America. He worked on a farm at some point. He went to America, he studied. From studied, he worked with his brother. They built a company. They eventually worked with the guys who built PayPal. They sold PayPal. After PayPal, he went into Tesla. He went into SpaceX. But because he knows what failure and adversity and struggling and building feels like, he was like, I'm not done. I'm now going to go and buy Twitter. I think I can do. And people were like, what does this guy know? This is the guy who constantly keeps showing you, I can make magic out of nothing. He went and he set up the Boring Company, and he sold caps, and he sold flamethrowers, and he made millions. That guy could decide, Elon Musk could decide to be a rapper next year. I'd keep quiet and watch. Kanye West. From music to fashion, from fashion to maybe running an off-grid, from an off-grid to, then he says certain things and people are like, Kanye is done. This is Kanye. Those of us who understand the hustling spirit, Ukanye angavuka kusasa and do something else. So don't write people like that off, and don't write yourself off. Believe in yourself. We're here. We're here to tell you guys that we believe in you. A lot of the VIT students were marching, were protesting against financial exclusion for whatever reason. And yes, you have to fight, fees must fall, etc. But guys, life is dynamic. Some of you are going to get financially excluded and go become DJs, and going to go and become crypto entrepreneurs, and are going to go push him more fire because but you have to pay rent. Some zamba nyo squats and amachitenu, ahlale hill pro emaboneng or whatever. Some of you nzohlale emakasi, mhlambe push amakota or whatever. Some of you are going to come to the Vibe Gaming and maybe get involved in Abo House and Abo Fernando. And Twana, please teach me how to do a tattoo. Twana, I want to learn gaming. Some of you are going to go overseas. Like I said, shout out to Max. Max has sent some people overseas. Shout out to Toby's guys that have been overseas, bartended, worked in warehouses. Today they work in proper companies, making proper money, and they invest in South African kids because they understand that this life thing is long. Don't ever be so obsessed with your success. Beyonce knows uvuka namhlanje. Her albums are old. She needs a new album. LeBron James has broken records, but he has to wake up in the morning and go to the gym because he works at a higher standard. Never, ever, 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 ever settle, even when you succeed, because you're constantly around people that are failing. These guys, they are billionaires, but they chill with someone whose business has just failed. Like I said, I want to chill with you because there's a mindset that you're going through right now, which maybe I've forgotten because I'm so rich and successful. And I want to suck on this thing of how you're feeling. Are you depressed? Are you not feeling well? Do you think you're... Fuel me. I'm Beyonce. I'm not good enough. I'm not Adele. I'm not Katy Perry. I'm not Taylor Swift. Give me more. I'm this black woman that they think I'm done. I'm married. Jay-Z. I want more. Rihanna's popping. No, I can do more than Rihanna. I'm never satisfied. I want to push because I've got a higher calling, and I'm the person that my family, that black people, that Africa, that the world has been waiting for. And it's up to me to ignite the world and turn it into something super special. That's all that we are here to do. To be on prophet and no poshiri, to be like, keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Let no one cancel you. Let no one write you off.
Yeah.
It is your time. It is your season.
Yeah.
I prophesy. Amen. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Give us more. Believe in you, man.
Give us more, Papa.
Go deeper, Papa.
Go deeper, Papa. Yeah.
Those are my words to the squatters, man. We love you guys. And look, me usbu abantu be strati mina ngokugibela ama taxi. Usbu mayigibela taxi angeke isahamba ngoba abantu bazofuna ama autographs. At least asikakadumi kulezinga. So samba ngama taxi at times. We see you guys hustling. We see you guys that work at Pick and Pay or ShopRite. The guys that are petrol attendants. I meet people who are nurses. I met a petrol attendant the other day who was telling me, no, Ntwana, this was in Durban, Mkhukhu. Our Penuel fethu sawuthanda umsebenzi enushaya noSibuda. Penuel ngisafunda mfethu. So nje, yeah, this is not me, Ntwana. This is just a phase. I'm going somewhere else. Ngithi baba, enjoy this phase and also enjoy the next phase that's coming. There are a lot of you guys we meet out in the streets, people that have pushed MOFAYA. Someone was reminding me of a story of SBU where a girl asked SBU for registration money. And SBU did something so special. He didn't give her money. He gave her something more important than money. This is where we speak about don't give a man fish, teach them how to fish. SBU went with this young lady, a lady. A young lady. They went into the streets with amabhakede MOFAYA. They pushing MOFAYA. That lady managed to raise her registration money. But that's not what's important in the story. SBU taught this lady how to solve her own problems with what she has. Moving forward, every time she needs money or something, she's going to be like, Wanje, what would DJ SBU do? He would hit the streets and go start again. As big as he is as a brand, he still goes into the streets and that inspires us and it should inspire you. You should never be ashamed. We have got too many role models that are willing to do the dirty, embarrassing things that you guys maybe are. Who are you to be ashamed? You need to be the ones doing the embarrassing stuff. So when we are doing the embarrassing stuff, who are you? It's me. But hey, Baba, lower yourself at all times, and that's how you'll sustain your career, your passion, your vision, your dream. You'll never be that big. There'll always be someone bigger. Some of the biggest artists collaborate with Umafigis or Wentwano Shisai because they're like, you're the new in thing. I will work with you. I will humble myself before you and let's work and let's push. You are who I was back then, and I know.
Load shedding hits. Let's close it off here. Don't give up on yourselves, guys. We love you so much. That's what we're here for. We don't want to hear stories of Gutin is bulele because you lost it all. We've lost it all. Kunyiwe kuze kunyiwe ukuthi manje ngisatshe ukuthi manje kuyanyiwa ndoda usowazi nokuthi malini iloaf brown malini ibisi malini 1 gig malini half bathi in 500 half a gig konje in 500 band
500 megs.
500 megs wazi ukuthi malini usolanda lama package lanka welanga
Sure.
ukuthi wazi nokuthi
daily what
ngitargeta after midnight. Guys, that's what the hustle takes.
Yeah.
We're hustlers here. Nobody hustled to be all nice and all be Instagrammy. No. Tina siyayazi inhlupheko. So we are here to tell you that. Ukuthi, we know your pain. We feel your struggle. We're now speaking to those who think they've failed. It's not failure. It's lessons. It's your education. uNkulunkulu wenza ngamabomu ukufaka lapho because uyakushayinisa. You're just that rough diamond. Because sometimes izinto uyithola ngokushesha and awukhona ukuzibamba usustain for isikhathi eside because uvele nje wafika. So kumele ukusokole, kumele ukukhumbule ukuthi kunjani ukusokola. Uthi uzama ukubamba lokho akuhlangani. Akuhlangani. Ungabelieve ukuthi yo uNkulunkulu ungenzeni. Life injalo ke iza kufundisa life iza kuphaphamisa. But one day umusukhulile umdala, you look back at all those failures and be like, wow, this was the reason why he was putting me through this. That was the reason why, oh, now I understand. And that's what they call it's wisdom. You're able to tell the stories, you're able to share and inspire others and change other people's lives through your stories because you failed so much. But now because you're older, you understand each and every point at your life when you were failing, what it was for. Because uNkulunkulu was doing it for a reason. So if you're there right now, khululeka, akusuwe weta, that is phuma khona. And we're not even shy or afraid or embarrassed to tell you we failed more times than you'll ever even fail when. Ungasiboni sisok. Dala yazi nabathi kanyiwa Penuel uthami. Bathi kanyiwa ndoda so isingo wenza sure ukuthi siklast iviki lonke. Le nyukunyane encane osele ngayo wenza sure ukuthi yakulasta. Guys, yo. Awuna ngisho no forget the rent. Usquatte nokusquatta awuna next. It gets there. Because that's the reason why we call ourselves hustlers. We always bounce back. Never give up on yourself. Don't commit suicide. We're here for you. We love you guys.
Guys, we love you so much, man. The Penuel Show in the morning, the Hustlers Corner, I think, is on right now. Podcast and chill later. We love you. We appreciate you. The virtual Mkhukhu. We'll see you guys soon. Don't forget, if you have a business somewhere, hit us up. We'll try and come through to you, and we'll meet up with you guys and expose your business and grow this virtual squatter camp together. Siantand, we're out.